I'm calling that officially to order, but I would love for us to introduce ourselves, and we'll start over here with Commissioner Scott.
Thank you much, Madam Chair. Brian Scott, Pinellas County Commission.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Shear, Pinellas County.
Patty Reed, council member for the city of Pinellas Park.
Thank you, and again, welcome to everyone that's here this morning. So we're gonna move right into our agenda, and the next item is our action items. And the first one is to approve the February 4th minutes. I entertain a motion.
Minutes for the meeting.
I'm sorry, could you just call for public comment just so it's
You know,
on record?
listen, I'm following out Commissioner Alberta, and I already have it checked off like I did it. Okay, I am so sorry. Is there any public comment?
I don't-
Okay, thank you so much for that. Rachel, that's gonna be your new token every meeting, is to make sure that we call for public comment. Okay, now we're moving into our action items. Again, thank you so much, and I know that we've already had a motion from Commissioner Shear to accept the motion. Was there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Now we will have Ms. Trish Collins, who will come and present to us the strategic plan as a follow-up before. So thank you so much, Ms. Trish.
Good morning, thank you so much. I have a copy of the
Oh, thank you.
plan that you have in your packet,
Okay.
but I do think it's helpful sometimes to have a real physical copy in my hands. Thank you. All right, well, again, good morning. My name's Trish Collins. I'm the Director of Human Resources at PSTA, and I am here to bring forward an action item to recommend approval of the PSTA Vision 2030 strategic plan. We've taken a long journey together over the past year to develop this plan, and it's built on the three priorities that we've consistently heard from the board: financial responsibility, operational excellence, and community impact. Vision 2030 lays out a blueprint for projects and initiatives that drive those priorities forward, that include projects like increasing revenue through building ridership, through naming rights partnerships, increased revenue from our UPass partners, and adding a retail tenant at the new Clearwater Station. It also includes internal policy and financial analysis projects to help improve our efficiencies, safety investments like in-vehicle AI cameras to help reduce collisions, and service enhancements that align with county priorities like the Alt-19 Premium Transit Corridor and express service using the new FDOT express lanes from St. Pete to Tampa International Airport. All of the projects proposed in the plan for FY26 are already currently funded. And well over half of the projects in the plan for the rest of the 5-year period are either zero cost or they're intended to lower costs. The PSTA Board of Directors will always have the final say in each individual project. The plan presented before you this month is critically a guideline document for our staff efforts and for other required planning like the Transportation Development Plan, which is required by the state DOT, and which Nicole Dufo will be presenting this month for adoption as well. This plan ensures that we're more efficient with our efforts, and it increases and ensures transparent communication with the board, so there are no surprises. Now, this plan is intended as a complete set of projects that we plan to bring to the board. But board adoption at this stage does not equal a unanimous endorsement by the board of every single project in it. We understand that not all of these projects are going to move forward. Individually, every major project is going to come back to the board, as it always does, and will include critical information like costs and funding plans and timeline and ROI and the value that we believe the project brings to the community to justify the investment. The board then will deliberate and ask questions and request additional information and all of the things that exercise the due diligence that you must in your roles. And then only if it's the will of the board, when you vote, will any particular project move forward. Now, we've really appreciated all of the comments that we've received from the board during the entire development of this plan. At our board meeting last week, Commissioner Nowicki made some very thoughtful comments about the importance of performance standards being a part of the plan. And we agree, that's a great enhancement to the strategic plan. So we've added our performance count scorecard right into the strategic plan, which is built on the same 3 principles that were unanimously adopted by the board last summer: financial responsibility, operational excellence, and community impact. Now, the performance count scorecard, as this committee knows very well, has been the backbone of PSTA's performance reporting and employee and CEO performance reviews since 2017. We're proud to hold ourselves to high standards publicly, and we're very proud that we consistently outperform state and peer performance standards. The performance count scorecard comes to the board every year, where we request your approval on the targets and the goals that are contained within it. And then we report those results to this committee every quarter. It's also included in the board packet, and it's publicly available on our website. So this is a valuable addition to our scorecard, one that we think makes it stronger and that affirms our commitment to continual improvement and to the responsible execution of our duty to the community. Now, we also understand that, as Commissioner Scherer had noted, there may be some desire for further definition of PSTA's target customer and their transportation needs. And we'd like to suggest for the board's consideration holding a board retreat on that topic, and possibly some additional important topics like transit investment funding models and also ROI of transit investment to communities. And for today, I'd like to bring us back to the action item at hand, which is to take a vote on recommending approval of the Vision 2030 strategic plan for adoption by the board. And with that, I'd love to pass it back over to our chair.
Thank you. Any commissioners have any questions?
Oh, just a comment.
Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Trish. You know, I think this is really a pretty good plan. There's a lot in here. You know, I think one of the things that we've got to keep in mind as we look for those performance metrics going forward is we did that major system redesign, which was the first one we probably did in like 40 years. So it was a big deal. It's going to take probably about 12 months for all that to kind of filter out, sort of see, you know, what the effects have been on that. When did we start? Was that October 1 we started that?
October.
End of October.
End of
I know October, okay. So as we get to that year point, it would be interesting to just sort of do a route comparison over that year to see what the changes were. And perhaps look at fare box recovery by route, just to kind of see, you know, and not that that's the only metric of a route that's important, but it may help us to, you know, as we look to do further system changes in the future, that just may be a data point that's of interest for us to have. So.
Like minds think alike, because we're working on the ability and that we will provide that. Basically monthly, some kind of fare box recovery of each by route.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to work out the kinks in that, but I think it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did?
Yep, I'm good.
You know,
Thank you.
Commissioner?
I'm good.
Well, I will respond to Commissioner Scott's request on that, because even with the changes that were made in October, there still have been adjustments accommodating some that didn't work so far, so that's gonna be a really good comparison to see, because we've already started making adjustments, and we're not waiting into that year to do it, so that's interesting. And I'm glad you talked about a board retreat. Great minds think alike, because my recommendation was going to be for the strategic, for the mission and different things that we talked about for over the past year, it would be good to take another opportunity, as we did in coming up with this, and highlight again, as what Ms. Collins said, on different areas that we may be able to find room for change, improvement, or addition. So thank you for bringing that up, because I was also gonna recommend that we can do something collaboratively, like we did when we came up with the strategic plan. We met here, we went through our activities, we came up with all of the components of this, and now we just have something extra to add. And that's to look at the mission statement. So thank you for that presentation. Thank you for the consideration of everyone's recommendations. And I guess we'll, in the planning phases moving forward, we need to go ahead and set that date for us to host something like that, where we can have that conversation and look for that opportunity of improvement. I don't have a motion on the floor to,
I'll make a motion.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Ms. Collins, it passes, appreciate you. So now we're gonna move on to our information items, which is the draft of the March board agenda, and that will be our very own, Ms. Brad
Thank you.
Miller.
Taking a look ahead, there's been a few changes to what I had hoped to put on the agenda this month, but the main two items will be the strategic plan, as Trish, and I think we'll present that to the planning committee as well. To hear their thoughts on the strategic plan first before it comes to the board, but then that'll be a main item. As Trish mentioned, the state DOT requires us to do a what's called a transit development plan, a TDP, every 5 years. Is that right, Nicole?
Yes.
5 years is a major update, and then in the other 4 years, you have to do a minor update. And the PSA board has to approve of the major update. And this year is our year for the major update. Since we just did the community bus plan in the fall, our TDP is basically exactly that, with some minor tweaks to be compliant, right? And we want it to dovetail into the strategic plan as well. We don't want to create something new and different. That's kind of the challenge with all these different all these things, is to have them sort of Russian doll and that, go with each other. And so unfortunately, Nicole is not gonna be here for the board meeting, because she's going to some training, so Devin Deal will present that.
Yes,
You wanna say something, Nicole, about it?
yeah, sure.
TDP?
Yes, thank you, Brad. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Executive Committee members. Nicole Dufa, Director of Planning. Yes, so the TDP, the Transit Development Plan, will be a major update this year, as Brad said. And since I will not be here for the board meeting, Devin Deal, our Planning and Data Analyst Manager, who has also been working on the TDP, will be giving that presentation. And as Brad mentioned, it'll dovetail really well with the strategic plan, but additionally, it should also reflect the Pinellas County's larger long-range transportation plan, which is a 20-year plan. So it kind of combines the 5-year plan, but then does look to that future years as well. Thank you.
I think we'll probably delay on since Nicole's not gonna be here, I think we're gonna delay on the Alt 19 task orders until April. For that, so she can be here to present that, and then our plans for Alt 19 that we're working with for Pinellas. That will just be a task order to complete the preliminary design efforts for the Alt 19 project. Item 4C on the agenda, this will go to the Finance Committee, is a consultant contract, I think with Gannett Fleming, underneath Kimley-Horn?
Underneath WSP.
WSP, I'm sorry.
Okay. We're required by the federal government to do a transit asset management plan. And they will be used to help us complete that. That's a very effective and an important document to do a periodic assessment of every asset the BSA has, especially the federally funded assets. And now we're including for the first time our technology assets in that. And then do an assessment. They have a whole structure where you assess the state of good repair of, if it's falling apart like Clearwater Transit Center, it's a 1, and if it's brand new bus, it's a 4, I think 5? 5. You can get a 5. I don't think you can get a 0, which has bothered me, but I think Clearwater Park Street is like a 0. But and it's helpful, and every transit system in the country is required to do this now. To provide it. I know that the federal government uses this when they say, 90% of infrastructure is deficient and stuff like that. Your organizations say that it's part of that. And then 4D is our roof repair project. It's no longer a roof replacement project. And this will be, I think, about $2 million, $2.5 million? $2.5 million. It is to repair the flat roofs throughout this campus, which is this building. And then there's some portions of the operations building that are flat, and there's smaller parts over there. Essentially, they're going to be just adding in a layer of stuff on top of it to seal it.
So you say repair instead of replace?
Yes,
Okay.
I think our original idea was to replace the 30-year-old roof, or 20-year-old roof on this building, but now we think we can just repair it. And then last but not least on the agenda will be our FY25 audit. Debbie, you want to say nice things about it?
Yeah,
I mean, you set a very high bar, Debbie, so we expect perfection. Just
I
saying.
know, I
No pressure.
know. It's the first year of our audit with Clifton Larson Allen, with a group that, has not done transit before, so they're learning.
CLA?
Yeah.
Didn't we used to use them?
Yeah, but
We
they don't
did.
have anyone who's done transit
Oh,
before.
okay.
So, it's a wonderful learning experience for them to be able to go back out to other agencies and say they've gained some experience.
Right.
They've been asking a lot of questions, mostly in February, when I would have thought it may have been December. So we're a little behind in getting blessings and whatnot to move forward. So my goal is always to get this to the board in March, which is required by statute, unless I get an exemption just due to delays, as, first years sometimes happen. So, but my goal is to get there. Might be a few late nights.
I think that concludes.
Hey, Brad, I got a quick question on the transit asset management. Are we doing that in-house, or do you have to get a third party to do that?
Well, I think we are using Gannett Fleming to help us develop it. They were the ones we did use 5 years ago. I think that is the plan.
So it's kind of like basically sort of evaluation of all the equipment, more or
Yeah.
less.
The condition of that.
Right.
And then that helps us for grant applications for state of good repair funding and bus facility funding. You see every transit system uses that assessment to, and I think that's the goal of it, is to replace the stuff that needs to be replaced. On some kind of process.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah,
Chair,
Chair, just real quick, I wanna say thank you for taking my idea up on the mission statement. I appreciate it. I think it's important to have one that we can point to, say this doesn't go with our mission statement while
Yeah.
we're spending money here. So that's great. I really do appreciate it. Bus bays came up yesterday when I was reviewing the plan for the new center for the county seat on Olmerton Road. They mentioned they were working with somebody here I'm putting a bus bay out front, but we already had one down the street. I didn't know if we needed to, but I like bus bays, so I think we only have one in our strategic plan, right?
Well, we have, the one that's identified in the strategic plan is Countryside Mall,
Uh-huh,
which is
right.
definitely needed. But we have, you'll see a plan maybe to include some on alternate 19, Seminole Boulevard and up that way. And then, I know we're working with the county designer on that, on
Good,
the
I
best way
think
to
it's
serve that.
important, if we're gonna have a bus system, we should at least have it dropping people off right there where our government center is.
Having a bus pull out on Ulmerton Road would be handy.
Huh,
Would
what's
be,
that?
yeah.
Having a bus pull out on Ulmerton Road there would be handy, a dedicated.
Yeah, sure, right, slide right in, so I think that'd be great to pursue. Just real quick, 'cause this is executive meeting, I keep running into this, I keep hearing in all these different board meetings I go to that Pasco County owes us money for this and that, like BTS and stuff too. Yeah, like for Pinellas, are they owe us any money for the studies we're doing on busing?
Pasco County?
Yeah, they do, they're
Slow
slow payers.
No, not to
All right,
us.
just checking, okay.
Not to
It's a little
us.
Ford Pinellas money for studies that we're doing.
Yeah, it's a little like with BTS, which is our IT for the county. They provide services for the Sixth Circuit, okay, which includes Pasco County Judicial as well. So there's a cost sharing arrangement there, and it's not always been a portion properly split. So
I'm looking into stuff like that, so
So
maybe
that's
get
what
a
he's-
total global bill together. And then,
Well, I appreciate your vigor in getting payments. I share your concern.
Get paid.
Not necessarily with Pasco County,
Yeah.
but we have other entities that seem like we can use a little bit of muscle. Getting to pay Hart over in Tampa, maybe?
Yeah, I like asking for money. And then, just one quick note, because you were talking about the agenda for the next meeting. When I was in, Washington with Commissioner Scott, we went to a meeting with Kathy Castor about the ferry, and I got updated at that meeting. I didn't realize all the things that were going on with the ferry. I didn't know if you were planning to give us an update at the next meeting or not, but.
We are planning, as we talked at the legislative committee, either this month or probably in April, we're gonna come with a comprehensive plan, and we'll have, hopefully by then, some options on vessels. And the Hubbards are looking at a whole, as we talked to the legislative committee, they're looking at a whole bunch of different,
Well, I heard
different
San
scenarios
Francisco
of-
deal fell through and the one in New Orleans that wasn't working out, and I just didn't know what the update was on finding a boat.
I hope that the New Orleans one has not been nixed yet. But
Well, if I didn't know what the update was, so I
Yeah.
figured most of the people on the board didn't know, so.
They were
There-
waiting
there's
for
things,
us
there's
for-
things moving on the vessels, on the docks in St. Pete and Tampa, and then on the service planning, where that's gonna actually run. So, yeah, we're gonna try to give a whole update on that.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Scott. let me-
Oh, I was remembering that conversation with Congresswoman Castor, and we're waiting for DOT to make a decision on funding for something. I forgot what it was.
Right.
It was another
They
vote
had to
somewhere
approve,
else.
the
but-
DOT had to
Yeah.
approve something on one of
Yeah.
the boats that we were
They had
looking
to
at.
approve the grant for San Francisco
Yeah, that's
to
what,
release that boat.
that's what it was.
And I know Congresswoman Luna and Castor and Senator Moody's offices made phone calls. But what I updated the legislative committee was that I heard yesterday that San Francisco has offered to modify their grant request to please the DOT, hopefully, to get some movement on that. Yeah, so we'll see if that vessel's not available, then we are looking at alternatives.
I'm sure you are,
Yeah.
I just thought maybe a quick note to the rest of the board, because people ask me all the time, because they're
Yeah.
excited about the ferry, and they wanna know what's going on with it, so
We're excited too.
that was all.
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Sheriff, for that. And for clarity, the deal in San Francisco has not been nixed. So that was part of the conversation we had with, in the legislative committee, because that was my concern as well, with the ferry, and to make sure that we have the transparency of an update as to what is going on with that. So I have been comforted in knowing that we do have other options. We've been exploring other options. I don't know if we're gonna have an update by this meeting, so I agree with you, Brad, it'll probably be in April for us to add it to the agenda. And that it's good that Congresswoman Castor is also involved. Well, not only that, but Congresswoman Luna as well, since they're the one that made the appropriation request for the ferry, especially for the one in St. Pete. So that has also been my request, is that we stay consistently updated on it. So if you're getting questions that you don't have an answer to, I'm sure Brad or Mr. Burns will be glad to take your call, because we don't want incorrect information out there. It's too important not to have the correct information out there. So thank you for bringing that up. You don't have anything else for any other business? Well, seeing none, hearing none, we will now officially adjourn, and our next meeting will be April 1st at 10 a.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mia.
And then I will, once we finish taping today with Chair Fix Sanders, I will send